One of the most famous Western television series, Bonanza, has a personal backstory involving two performers, Pernell Roberts and Dan Blocker. There were conflicts between the two performers despite their on-screen fraternity, which is why Roberts' choice to skip Blocker's funeral was so important. What led to this rift? Were these personal disputes or something else entirely? The complicated dynamics of their relationship are shown in this video, along with the reasons Pernell Roberts decided not to attend the burial despite having a strong attachment to his co-star. Come along as we delve into the untold tale of the off-screen drama involving the Bonanza family. The birth of Bonanza and its impact on TV. One of the first Western TV shows in color, Bonanza made its premiere in 1959 and left a lasting impression on television history. The sitcom featured the lives of Ben Cartwright and his three kids, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe, and was set in the Nevada Territory. Bonanza enthralled viewers and became a huge sensation thanks to its breathtaking scenery, intricate narrative, and endearing characters. The program raised the standard for television programs and revolutionized the Western genre. Its depiction of a close-knit family overcoming obstacles struck a strong chord with viewers. Being among the first to broadcast in color, Bonanza changed the TV business by pushing the limits of technology. However, underlying the success were conflicts within the ensemble, especially between Pernell Roberts, who felt constrained by the program's direction, and other actors. Many fans were unaware at the time of how these underlying problems would affect relationships on set and shape the show's future. Pernell Roberts' ambitious journey. One of Bonanza's most impressive actors, Pernell Roberts, played Adam Cartwright, but his goals extended well beyond the program. Roberts yearned for more significant and varied parts in movies and on stage. Even while the show made him famous and well-known, he quickly grew tired of his character's shortcomings. Ben's bright son, Adam Cartwright, felt more and more one-dimensional to Roberts, who favored characters with depth and complexity. After 6 seasons, he abruptly left the show in 1965, shocking everyone and leaving many to wonder why. Was it his mounting discontent with his co-stars, or the limitations of his creativity? Following Roberts' departure, tense relationships with his co-workers developed. He frequently expressed openly how unhappy he was with his role and the show's lack of focus. However, despite his difficulties, Roberts showed that he was more than just a TV personality by having a prosperous career outside of Bonanza. Bonanza's gentle giant. Because of his gentleness, strength, and unfailing loyalty, Hoss Cartwright was the heart of the Cartwright family. Dan Blocker's portrayal of him in Bonanza earned him the nickname the Gentle Giant. Hoss served as an emotional center, unlike Little Joe's impetuous behavior or Adam's more cerebral nature. Audiences adored Blocker's performance in the role, and his presence gave the series more nuance and humanity. At 6 feet 4 inches and renowned for his frightening bulk, Blocker was the complete opposite of the character he played. He was a funny, grounded man in real life who his co-stars adored. Blocker rarely sought attention outside his position as Hoss, preferring to live a quiet life with his family off camera. Fans and cast members were grieved when he passed away unexpectedly in 1972 at the age of 43, cruelly ending his life. His death left a huge void in everyone's heart who knew him, not just in Bonanza. Tension between Roberts and Blocker. On screen, Adam and Hoss Cartwright were inseparable, while Pernell Roberts and Dan Blocker's relationship was characterized by conflict and disagreement. Blocker was known for his laid-back, grounded nature, but Roberts was frequently described as headstrong, driven, and intelligent. These disagreements occasionally caused problems on site, with Roberts allegedly becoming irritated with Blocker's easygoing demeanor. Roberts was annoyed by Blocker's lack of forthright confrontation with difficulties. The tension increased when Roberts left Bonanza in 1965, allegedly feeling creatively limited. Blocker and other cast members were shocked by Roberts' choice since it made the environment on set even more tense. The gap between the two actors eventually widened due to this departure. Their off-screen relationship remained complicated despite their on-screen brotherhood, and their disagreements would contribute to the circumstances surrounding Roberts' absence from Blocker's funeral. This matter would be the focus of conjecture for years to come. Reason behind Roberts' absence at Blocker's funeral. There was a lot of conjecture about Pernell Roberts' absence from Dan Blocker's burial, which sparked discussion among fans and business insiders. Roberts' decision to skip the burial baffled many because of their on-screen sibling closeness. Some thought that the unresolved tensions between the two men during their time on Bonanza were the reason for his absence. Others conjectured that Roberts didn't want to rehash the strained relationships or face the unpleasant memories of the show. After all, Roberts had not been particularly excited about attending such gatherings because of the drama surrounding Bonanza's backstage operations, especially his departure in 1965. Even though Roberts never gave a public explanation for his choice, it has continued to be a source of fascination, adding depths of mystery to his complex relationship with Blocker. This absence was the last chapter in a long-running, uncomfortable tension that would never be entirely addressed, especially for viewers who had grown to love the familial closeness the two performers had forged on screen. Bonanza's change post-Roberts. Significant adjustments were made to Bonanza after Pernell Roberts left the show in 1965. The family dynamic changed due to Adam Cartwright's writing removal from the series, with Ben and his surviving boys, Hoss and Little Joe, receiving more attention. Even though the series ran for a few more seasons, a clear gap was left by Roberts' character's departure. Once a cohesive family with a healthy mix of intelligence, strength, and youth, the family lost its oldest son. With Hoss and Little Joe frequently participating in different escapades, the show's tone changed from intricate family relationships to action-packed stories. Even though Bonanza remained popular, the chemistry of the first several seasons was never fully restored. Adam's shrewd, sulky demeanor was missing. Some viewers even thought the show had lost its substance. However, the program persevered for a few more seasons before ultimately disappearing from the annals of television. Despite continuing to be a treasured aspect of American television culture, the show's inevitable downfall began with Roberts' departure. Dan Blocker's family struggles. Dan Blocker's premature death in 1972 stunned his admirers and the entertainment business. Blocker was a loving husband and father off-screen, and his death at 43 left his family grieving. Blocker had 4 children during his marriage to Dorothea. His wife and kids were devastated by his untimely death, which resulted from complications after gallbladder surgery. They lost their patriarch way too soon. Although Blocker's family had always maintained a low profile, his death brought them unexpectedly into the public eye. His family and his Bonanza co-stars found it challenging to deal with the loss. They lamented the passing of a cherished co-worker and the loss of a kind giant whose generosity had profoundly affected everyone on set. His family, the recollections of his time on Bonanza, and the enduring impression of his kind, grounded nature all contributed to Dan Blocker's legacy. Bonanza's impact on Western TV. After its 1959 premiere, Bonanza transformed the Western genre and became a television mainstay for many years. It set a high bar for character development, plot, and production quality as one of the first Western TV series in color. It established the tone for later Westerns by introducing deeper family dynamics and difficult moral decisions, in addition to cowboys and actions. Bonanza's approach to family-centric stories and moral quandaries impacted television programs like Gunsmoke and The Big Valley. Bonanza set the stage for the development of the Western genre on television with its enduring theme tune and enduring characters like the Cartwright family. Its enduring popularity and broad impact can still be seen in contemporary Western dramas, indicating how the program changed both the genre and viewers' expectations of what television storytelling might offer. Pernell Roberts after Bonanza. After leaving Bonanza, Pernell Roberts wanted to broaden his acting career and escape the shadow of his performance as Adam Cartwright. Roberts, well known for his intense love of theater, longed for more challenging parts to let him use his acting skills. Although he played on Broadway and in several TV shows, such as Dynasty and MASH, none of his roles could compete with the fame of his Bonanza character. Despite his difficulties with typecasting, Roberts stayed committed to his work and frequently expressed annoyance at only being seen through Adam's eyes. Even though he didn't achieve the same level of widespread success as he did during his Bonanza years, Roberts' post-Bonanza career demonstrated his adaptability and drive for artistic fulfillment despite these obstacles. Pernell Roberts and Dan Blocker's chemistry. The success of Bonanza was mainly due to the enduring brotherly closeness that Pernell Roberts and Dan Blocker forged on screen. Their roles, Adam and Hoss Cartwright, represented opposing but complementary personalities. Hoss was the hilarious, big-hearted middle brother, while Adam was the cerebral. Their on-screen connection felt genuine because of this dynamic, which became a defining feature of the program. Even though off-screen conflicts occasionally strained their relationship, their shared moments of emotional depth and companionship made a lasting impression on the show's legacy. Whether they were helping each other out or solving difficulties, how their sibling bond was shown was a significant factor in why viewers found the show compelling. Fans continue to remember them affectionately because of their ability to play off one another with warmth and ease, demonstrating both Roberts and Blocker's extraordinary talent. Shaping the Western genre. A significant influence on the development of the contemporary American Western was Bonanza. It was among the first programs to combine the thrilling adventure of classic Westerns with an emphasis on moral complexity and character growth. Bonanza explored themes like justice, familial loyalty, and personal development, delving into the subtleties of human nature in contrast to prior Westerns that mostly followed straightforward good versus evil narratives. The program gave Westerns a fresh perspective by fusing action with deep moral quandaries and nuanced emotional content. Additionally, it paved the way for later Westerns with comparable storylines, which paved the way for the emergence of other iconic programs like Gunsmoke and The Big Valley. Bonanza contributed to developing the contemporary Western on television with its intricate plot and nuanced characters. Dan Blocker's Hollywood legacy. The impact of Dan Blocker goes beyond his role as Hoss Cartwright. Although his death in 1972 created a vacuum in Hollywood, it also brought to light his extraordinary influence on the entertainment business and his acquaintances. In addition to his impressive on-screen presence, Blocker was well known for his compassion, friendliness, and humility off-screen. His co-workers recalled him as a man whose heart was as large as his persona. Blocker was well-liked in Hollywood because of his work ethic and commitment to his family. The fans and co-stars who loved him were deeply affected by his untimely loss, in addition to his family. Hollywood history will never forget Blocker's contributions to the entertainment industry and his portrayal of the endearing Hoss Cartwright. Pernell Roberts' typecasting struggles. One of the most significant challenges in Pernell Roberts' career was his battle with typecasting. Because of how deeply embedded his portrayal of Adam Cartwright was in the public consciousness, it was almost hard for him to escape the role. Even though he was a gifted actor, many of the roles offered to him following Bonanza seemed to be a rerun of his earlier work. Frustrated by his inability to break free from Adam's shadow, Roberts found himself pigeonholed. He declined many offers that would have kept him in the Western genre because he wanted more varied roles. Roberts persisted in his pursuit of more nuanced, dramatic parts despite this. Despite not being as well known as Bonanza, Roberts' tenacity and dedication to his work ensured that typecasting would never lessen his reputation as an actor. Pernell Roberts' personal life. Pernell Roberts' personal life was as complicated and tumultuous as his work life. His 3 marriages and personal relationships were frequently fraught with hardships. His second marriage to Kara Nack ended in 1971, while his first marriage to Judy Roberts ended in divorce. Despite these obstacles, Roberts married Eleanor Criswell in 1972, his third wife, and they fell in love. They were together till 2010, when he passed away. Many of the themes Roberts depicted on screen, including his battles with identity, self-satisfaction, and navigating the Hollywood industry, were reflected in his life. Like his work, his marriages were characterized by introspection and a quest for purpose. His life was just as complex and fascinating as the characters he played on TV because, despite his pleasure with Criswell, his previous relationships revealed his inner turmoil and the personal toll that stardom took on him. Pernell Roberts and Lorne Greene's tension. Pernell Roberts' relationship with Dan Blocker was tense, but so were his conflicts with Lorne Greene, who played Ben Cartwright. Greene, a Canadian actor who portrayed the Cartwright family patriarch, had a more conventional approach to acting and career management, which frequently ran counter to Roberts' outspoken and progressive beliefs. There were tales of arguments and difficulties on site, and the personalities of the two performers often clashed. However, despite their disagreements, Roberts and Greene were able to collaborate for the benefit of the program, even if their relationship remained aloof and businesslike throughout the series. The toll of Bonanza's success on cast. It is impossible to ignore Bonanza's emotional toll on its cast, even though it was a huge hit and one of the most watched TV programs of its day. Physical and mental fatigue were frequently caused by the long hours, ongoing stress, and demands of filming outdoors. Pernell Roberts' battles with the limitations of his character added to this pressure, as he was frequently unhappy with his role. The star's mental health suffered as a result of the demanding production schedule and ongoing public scrutiny. Despite the underlying tensions, Blocker found that the program gave him a sense of family and togetherness, and his strong bond with the series and his co-stars made it a more positive experience. Dan Blocker's faith and family. Dan Blocker's demeanor on and off screen was greatly influenced by his steadfast Christian faith and dedication to his family. Blocker was a profoundly religious man who emphasized the value of family above all else and frequently discussed the significance of preserving solid, sustaining bonds with his loved ones. His portrayal of Hoss Cartwright, the family-oriented kid always willing to help his siblings, reflected these values. Both fans and co-workers adored Blocker partly because of his strong religious beliefs and dedication to his family. His untimely passing served as a reminder of how fleeting life is, and his enduring contributions as a husband, father, and actor are still honored today. Cast's reaction to Roberts' departure. Pernell Roberts' departure from Bonanza shocked the actors and production crew. Many of his co-stars were disappointed by Roberts' decision to depart, even though he had become increasingly dissatisfied with the show's direction and his position as Adam Cartwright. Given that they had cultivated a close working connection over the years, Dan Blocker, in particular, was disappointed by Roberts' departure. Blocker, who had always been regarded as friendly, was offended by Roberts' departure since it showed a more serious divide between the two performers. However, despite their disagreements, Blocker still respected Roberts as an actor and recognized that his choice was motivated by difficulties in both his personal and professional life. Bonanza's cultural impact. A cultural phenomenon that had a lasting impact on American television, Bonanza was more than just a Western. The program broke down barriers by tackling complex subjects like justice, race, and familial devotion in a nuanced manner for the first time. It was relatable to viewers well beyond the average Western viewer, since it depicted the moral struggles and victories of the Cartwright family. The popularity of Bonanza helped establish the genre's place in American television history by laying the groundwork for innumerable other Western series. The many allusions and tributes to Bonanza in movies, TV shows, and literature demonstrate the show's enduring cultural influence. Bonanza was well ahead of its time, as seen by the enduring influence of its theme song, characters, and famous quips on popular culture. This lasting impact is evidence of the potency of the narrative, presenting universal themes that audiences still find compelling today. Tragic losses of cast members. The cast of Bonanza suffered several devastating losses that influenced the show's history. The show, as well as his co-workers and fans, suffered a terrible blow when Dan Blocker passed away unexpectedly in 1972 after complications from gallbladder surgery. Blocker was a fan favorite because of his portrayal of the endearing Hoss Cartwright, and his absence irreplaceably diminished the Cartwright family dynamic. The adored Little Joe, Michael Landon, also suffered a personal tragedy when he passed away in 1991 from pancreatic cancer. Similarly, Ben Cartwright's actor, Lorne Greene, died in 1987. Each of these performers greatly influenced the program's popularity, and their deaths signaled the end of a chapter in Bonanza's history and brought attention to how fleeting life is. Because of their contributions to one of television's most recognizable families, many fans remember these significant figures fondly, and their loss is still felt today. Michael Landon's tribute. Michael Landon, who played Little Joe Cartwright, paid a moving homage to his co-star Dan Blocker after his untimely death. According to Landon, Blocker was one of the most sincere and compassionate people he had ever met. In a tearful interview, Landon disclosed that their connection went beyond their duties on Bonanza, explaining how they had grown close over the years. For the remainder of his life, Landon battled to fill the profound emotional gap left by Blocker's passing. This homage demonstrated the two men's close friendship and sincere affection and regard for one another, both on and off the set. One of the show's most distinctive elements was their friendship, and Landon's homage was a moving reminder of their bond's profound effects on the performers and the program. Pernell Roberts and Michael Landon's tension. Behind the scenes, Pernell Roberts, Adam Cartwright, and Michael Landon, Little Joe, had a less cordial relationship despite their excellent on-screen chemistry as siblings. Roberts, who departed Bonanza in 1965, had complained about the shallowness of his personality and how it felt like he was being held back by his role as the responsible elder brother. He was especially outspoken about Landon's ascent to fame, with Little Joe becoming the main character. In turn, Landon prioritized his job and the popularity of the show, frequently ignoring his conflicts with Roberts. Despite maintaining their professionalism while on set, there was an unmistakable undertone of tension due to the performers' divergent perspectives about the direction of the show and their respective roles within it. Although this behind-the-scenes dynamic was rarely acknowledged in public, it added depth to the legendary family ties seen on screen and helped to shape the changing ambiance on the set. Business struggles behind the scenes. Despite Bonanza's success, the show's production was hindered by several business issues. The cast members' early salaries were significantly lower than what they would eventually demand, which caused annoyance that frequently escalated into arguments with the network executives and producers. Actors often demanded greater latitude in how they portrayed their roles, leading to frequent creative disagreements between the cast and the network. The need to sustain Bonanza's strong ratings increased along with its popularity, creating a never-ending struggle between the show's artistic vision and the constraints of commercial television. Tensions over salary disputes arose due to the show's enormous success, with the stars' increased request for higher compensation mirroring the rising stakes. Although the public's enthusiasm for the program frequently overshadowed these behind-the-scenes problems, they were vital to the show's development and ultimate difficulties as it approached its later years. The end of Bonanza. An era in television history came to an end with the 1973 finale of Bonanza. The show struggled to regain its former brilliance as westerns lost popularity and the actors went through personal changes and losses. The family's cohesiveness suffered due to the departure of important cast members, including Pernell Roberts and Dan Blocker. Fans also had a less cohesive experience due to modifications made to the show's tone and storytelling to accommodate changing viewer preferences. The enchantment that made Bonanza a television phenomenon was not captured in the last seasons, although they were still very popular. The Cartwright family is still recognized as one of the most recognizable families in television history, and the show's legacy endures despite these difficulties. Given that Bonanza set the stage for later westerns and family-friendly programs and made a lasting impression on American entertainment, its place in TV history is assured. Impact of Dan Blocker's death. One of the most significant events in Bonanza's history was Dan Blocker's passing in 1972. The sitcom's popularity was greatly influenced by Blocker, who played the endearing Hoss Cartwright. His sudden death had a significant effect on the cast and viewers. It was difficult for the show's makers to carry on with the series without such a memorable character, and even with efforts to add new characters, it was obvious that the show would never be able to move past the loss. The Cartwright family dynamic had depended heavily on Hoss's kindness, wit, and insight. Without him, the sitcom lost its soul. Because Bonanza found it challenging to adjust to the loss of such a cherished character, Blocker's absence contributed to the show's slow collapse. The sad incident solidified Blocker's reputation as one of television's most beloved stars, but it also signaled the start of the show's eventual demise. Pernell Roberts' exit. A significant turning point in the history of Bonanza was Pernell Roberts' departure in 1965. Roberts, the oldest Cartwright son, had frequently been annoyed by the character's lack of growth in his portrayal of Adam Cartwright. At the height of the show's popularity, Roberts left to pursue more challenging roles and broaden his acting repertoire. Following his departure, the show's focus shifted, emphasizing Michael Landon's Little Joe and its younger viewership. The dynamic of the Cartwright family was impacted by Roberts' departure, even if the show remained successful. The show never recovered its initial vigor, and the family's equilibrium was upset by the loss of the stoic and intelligent Adam. Even so, Roberts' choice to leave Bonanza eventually allowed him to try out different parts, but he was never wholly free from the shadow of his famous persona. Bonanza's creation and success. David Dortert invented Bonanza, which debuted in 1959 and immediately became one of the most watched television programs of its era. With each actor playing a distinct part that enhanced the family's chemistry, the Cartwright family's casting was essential to the show's success. Michael Landon played the endearing Little Joe, Dan Blocker played the charming and powerful Hoss, Pernell Roberts played the wise and sulky Adam, and Lorne Greene played the patriarch Ben Cartwright. The ensemble members' relationship allowed for a genuine depiction of a close-knit family, and viewers found great resonance in their performances. This first casting triumph guaranteed Bonanza's position in television history and set the stage for its lengthy existence. Rising tensions on Bonanza. Tensions started to surface between the cast members of Bonanza as the show reached unbelievable heights of success. Behind the scenes, tensions among the players were rising due to the enormous fame and strain of running such a successful program. Pernell Roberts, in particular, found it challenging to handle the responsibilities of his position and was increasingly disenchanted with how the show was going. He believed that the others, especially the younger, more well-liked Little Joe, overshadowed his role, Adam Cartwright. The cast members' growing personal expectations added to these tensions, further escalating their strain. They nevertheless persisted in cooperating despite their disagreements, which produced several noteworthy on-screen moments. Dan Blocker's legacy on Bonanza. Beyond his work as Hoss Cartwright, Dan Blocker significantly influenced the Bonanza set. Blocker, well known for his kind and amiable manner, was a soothing presence on the set and frequently mentored younger actors and those new to the business. The cast and crew adored him for his sense of humor and ability to diffuse tension. The Bonanza family was still impacted by the remembrance of his generosity and caring even after his passing. His co-stars and the numerous individuals who worked behind the scenes to make the show a reality were devastated by Blocker's passing. Those who knew him personally and professionally will always carry his legacy in their hearts.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon